I want to make sure we touch on this because it is very important. It's very important to me because I know it's very important to you, and that is being a transplant, right?
I am, man.
Exactly, and I want to make sure that we really, really discuss this because this turned your life upside down, man. It is your life today. It's what it is, and I really want you to be able to freely talk about it, the good, the bad, the ugly. For the people that don't have a clue, right? I can honestly say I don't have a clue. I am ignorant to, right, the realities of living as a transplant and what that really truly means. Even giving somebody a hug,
right,
could be potentially deadly, right? So. Right. Yeah, let's talk about that if you don't mind, man. And obviously,
no, not at all. First of all, I want to thank you for even bringing that up. I'm always prepared to talk about it myself because, again, it is my life, and as you know, the same passion and work ethic that I put into the professional fight game and the martial arts world is the same work ethic that I put into surviving and just living on a day-to-day basis, right? But April, to all you guys who are listening now, here on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 YouTube channel, this is Terrence Crump's podcast. He's asking me about what it's like to be a liver transplant and transplant life in general. So First off, let me educate everyone and let you know that April around the world is recognized as what we call Donate Life Month. Recognize that. So April is Donate Life Month. And if you don't know what that means, then all you have to do is Google search Donate Life Month. But essentially, we're asking people to please consider being an organ donor.
Correct.
Because being an organ donor is a big decision for all of you, but just understand that someone like me at 47 years old on the 4th of July weekend of 2022, that year for me is I went to the January 9th game with my brother. I was end zone or corner end zone for the Chargers Raiders game that goes to overtime, and then we win with a kick, and then we eliminate the Chargers. And I think everything's going great in life, right? Everything's going fine. COVID restrictions are starting to go away. We had like 60,000 people there, and you think everything is okay. And then that was January. So then in June, I start to get sick, and I didn't even know why I'm getting sick. Like, what's going on, right? And then by that 4th of July weekend, I'm literally dying in Mountain View Hospital here in Las Vegas. And in Nevada, there is no transplant center. It's one of the worst things.
Wow.
No transplant centers.
I did not know that, man.
Yeah. So it's like you're either going to die or you hope that someone from Arizona or California or somebody accepts you, right? Clock is ticking for me, Terrence. So I was very blessed, and I thank God every day that I don't know why my life was saved, but I know that there's a plan for it because a group of non-profit transplant doctors, the group is called House Medicine. So if you guys are in need, or housemedicine.com. Housemedicine.com, everybody. If you guys are in need or need help with understanding how to go about your possible transplant journey, or maybe you have a friend that needs a transplant, like you could look, they have a lot of education. Housemedicine.com is the group. My doctors, Dr. Anand Anamale, they stepped up and they went ahead and they decided, or they felt that they could save my life at 47. They felt that, yes, I am at the critical stage. I mean, and at this point, Terrence, I'm trying to fight not to go into a coma. Like, I'm literally like using every ounce of energy and every prayer that I got. I got my mom with me, my wife's with me, my son's with me, my brother, who he dropped everything in Hollywood to be by my side. Like, yes. Everybody, my sister's coming by, like, and you really, I think when you get to that edge of death, essentially, you really then can understand, like, wow, man, this is how many people really want me around, right? Like like me getting a chance to talk to you for almost 4 hours about boxing, MMA, Raiders football. Like this is just a treat, man. This is just a blessing. Like this isn't, like that's why I at times you could tell I get a little upset at Raider Nation when they take it too seriously.
Yes.
Because I'm like, guys, okay, that's fine. We can have a healthy discussion. But at the end of the day, the Raiders winning the championship or losing the championship didn't save my life as a liver transplant. Like, it wasn't going to stop me from dying. You know what I mean? Like, so with transplant life, and again, April, to all you guys who are listening now, April is Donate Life Month. We share stories and we talk to everyone about, please consider being an organ donor. It is something that you can study and research. I don't want to try to sound like I'm trying to push you to do it, but
right.
Just understand again that
you're not for it, for sure.
Yeah, this sacrifice, like I can only talk about my own personal experience, but if it wasn't for the sacrifice of my donor and his family, I wouldn't be alive today, right? Because I'm supposed to already be dead. I'm not supposed to be around. Like my death day was supposed to happen that July 4th weekend of 2022. So by the grace of God and so many other things, out there, July 16th, I'm given a successful liver transplant. The climb back up from that is not an easy road. I hate to even say that, like people try to use the word was, but transplant's not what we do. So it's not something that disappears. Transplant is who we are. So me being a transplant is as real as this hat being green. You know what I mean? Like, and the reason why I wear green a lot, guys, is wearing green is the color of organ donation. And it is the way for me to always show everyone that this is how I honor my donor, right? I'm trying to educate people because that is what happens a lot, Terrence. Like I'll be, if I'm somewhere and somebody goes, I don't get it, man. Why are you wearing a Raider hat that's green?
Green.
Opens up the conversation. Well, let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
Right now, that like if they were making fun of me for having, yeah, exactly. If you were making fun of me for having a green Raiders hat, now you might have actually turned around and said to yourself, you might think about being an organ donor now, right? Like that's why the pin that says it right there says donate life, right? Like because that is what you're doing, and I'm using this extension of my life now, to share my story, to bring joy to people. Like it puts a smile on your face for us to talk about boxing and MMA. But like if I got to do that for you today, like I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have in this extension, right? But this is a memory that we're gonna have. And let's say you don't see me again for whatever, you're gonna remember, man, I remember my friend Angelo Reyes and we did this. And so I'm trying to do the best that I can for this extension that's been given to me. It is a gift, right? So we don't take it lightly. The lifestyle though, being a transplant is, and I've mentioned it in other interviews before, I try to tell people like, it's like you're a house of cards. And if one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. It's never like as easy as, oh, Terrence is just sick. Well, if Terrence is a transplant and Terrence is sick, like now, like, well, you're immune compromised. You're taking these anti-rejection medications. You have to do your blood work. I mean, I'm still doing my blood work every 2 weeks, and I'm at 20 months. But even, like once you get past the 5-year mark, if you're lucky enough to do your blood work like once every 3 months, you still got to do it. And then you never know when the rejection is going to kick in. And again, I hope that this isn't too triggering for everyone. But when I'm asked that question, like, what's it like to be a transplant? Well, it's not guaranteed. Like I think a lot of times you look at us, or you'll look at a transplant like me, and then because I look like you, Terrence, you think that we have the same problems, right? But in truth, it's like, well, I'm thinking about like how long I got. And then when this blood work comes, it's going to tell me here's all the things that's going wrong. And if one of those things happens to be rejection, dude, I mean, like that could be it for me.
Right.
Right. So, you know, I literally am counting my blessings, like as I'm having this conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times, like I said, like a lot of people take it for granted. Like, don't take your life for granted. All right. Like just don't do that. Don't do that because you think it's going to be there for you and then it's not.
Right.
Right. So that's, and for me, that's kind of what it was. So there was a process to the recovery. I didn't get to come back to Las Vegas till November of 2022. So I had to, you know, that was months of me having to, you know, fight my way back. And then even now, right? Like it's fun. Like I can have this conversation with you and this is fun, but this isn't how I am every day, man. The swing bouts of how I like I can't tell you, like today, man, I literally got a text today and somebody goes, you know, because they knew that my last show with Captain Jack, me hosting it, was on Sunday. So they were like, I gotta be honest with you, man. In fact, I'll read the text. I won't say
yeah,
who's from, but
read it.
I'll read the text. And the text
Please
literally was, you know, I was saying to him, hey man, if you want to watch Turf show, I'm gonna be his guest. We're gonna talk about boxing, MMA. And then he goes, cool. Not going to lie to you. You need to be solo with a weekly show and a few shorts. And then he goes, there are not many with your balance, stats and facts with your Raider fandom. Right. And I don't share that, Terrence, to like brag about it. I'm just saying this is a fact. A lot of people, like you, want me to have my own show, right? Captain Jack wants me to have my own show. Like, a lot of people want me to have my own show. And I'm like, guys, you know, like I literally responded, like I said, a lot of people have been asking me to do my own show. And as I have said to those same folks, I appreciate all the praise and support. And I really do. I appreciate all the praise and support.
Absolutely, you do.
But then I said, transplant recovery is a tough road. I'm only 20 months right now.
Right.
However, I am thinking about doing something of my own channel, maybe by the end of the year. In the meantime, I'm happy to guest on people's shows, and we can definitely chat about, you know, anything that you want to move forward with. But I really appreciate all your thoughts. I appreciate all your prayers. I appreciate all the positive energies. But like I said, it's one thing for me to be your guest.
Right.
Okay. It's one thing for me to be the guest of Turf at the Ultimate Raider Fan 32, and then we can sit here and have this chat for, you know, for anyone who wants to listen to it, right? It's another thing for me to actually be in charge of my own show, because look at all the work you're putting in. You're doing 4K, your sound's clear, you got a great background. Like, that's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Think it's easy.
Now I want to bring that back to, again, because we're talking about transplant life.
Right.
I think if you guys have a friend or if you have a family member that happens to be living with a transplant, like, give them some grace. Okay. Don't be so naive to believe that they're doing great, or you feel like they can lift as much as they used to lift, both in terms of physically and mentally and emotionally. You know, a transplant, if you have a friend or a loved one or a family member and they're dealing with transplant, give them some grace, man, because transplant life is not guaranteed. Again, transplant is not a cure. It is a gift. That's what we're given. We're given a gift. What we do with the gift, I mean, for me, I try to talk about the sacrifice of my donor all the time. I talk about how organ donation saves lives. Right.
Yes.
That we're doing. I'm doing what I can to. In fact, when it comes out, there's going to be a HRSA.gov is another one. It's HRSA, HRSA.gov. If you guys want to look up like information about your health or about organ donations, but there's going to be an article coming out here in April because it's Donate Life Month, and the story is about me. And it's me again. I mean, I'm doing as many of these as I can. And you know, Terrence, anytime somebody wants to talk to me about transplant, I'm an open book, and I'm an open door. But yeah, like, to go to your question, it isn't easy. And like you said, like, can you, like, you had the opportunity to play Montana State football. You were a certain part of that team, right? You built all these great relationships. And then when it got taken away from you,
Yes.
how did it make you feel?
Hurt.
Okay. Right.
Hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I still struggle. I think we all. Yeah. We all still struggle.
And it was a sport that you played all your life.
Correct.
Sport that you love. Okay. So I want you to now think back. I was at world championship level fights.
Right.
You could Google, you literally showed a video of me on a I mean, that was my life, man. That was my profession. Like, that's what I did. Right. And then to be told that you're never going back to it. Can't be around a gym. I can't go to a jiu-jitsu gym with Terrence Crump. Guys, I might get sick. Staph infection alone might kill me, man.
Anything.
Like
bacterial, cold, anything.
Yeah, anything, right? Like, I can't do that, right? So like I said, like, and yet what I think about is I don't even think about that. I think about the fact that I'm still alive today, so there's a reason for it.
Yes.
And if the reason for it is to bring a smile to Terrence Crump and his family's face, great. If the reason for it is to educate everyone who's listening to the show right now about organ donation and how organ donation saves lives, great, right? Like, if that's what God wants me here for, man, then that's what I'm here for. Because I'll tell you what, Terrence, my mom didn't raise no weak person.
Yeah,
like, my mom did. I mean, shout out to moms. All right. Shout out to moms and the real ones like my mom, who stood by my side, both from only in the Philippines, but guys, my mom just turned 71 this year. She didn't leave my bedside the entire time I was fighting for my life. All right.
Wow.
And again, man, if you can have a mother that loves you that much, then give her a hug, man. Give her a call. Like, count your blessings and just appreciate that. My wife never left my side. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean is, like, count your blessing. Like take a step, but you're mad about the Raiders losing, or you're mad because the Raiders didn't trade up for Jane Daniels. Take a breath, and then say to yourself, are you living in a nice enough place that you don't have to be out in the street?
Right.
Was there food in front of you? Right. Do you have people that love you? Okay, then what are you mad about that we didn't get Jaden Daniels? Like, do you know how ridiculous you sound now? Right? Like, you're that ungrateful person. Like, what's wrong with you, man?
Right.
Okay, life is a gift, and you should always look at it that way. I know I do, right? Yes. And again, not I'm trying not to get too deep on you here, Terrence, but when I was dying, okay, that warrior mentality did kick in of, I had a wonderful 47 years in this world. I've seen it, I've seen people who love me. I've had, I'm blessed to even be in the position that I'm in, to have traveled the world and got to do all of those things, to be able to, when you talk to me about how you're a fan of what I did, right? Like, I mean, how blessed was I, right? But that's not that's not even what was going through my mind during that time. It was like, wow, my mother is right by my side, right? I have a loving wife that's by my side, right? Like, I have my brother who dropped everything he was doing, and he's right here by my side, right? I was able to raise a son who was only born with half a heart, right? And he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things to be thankful for, and it's all right in front of you. That a lot of times, man, you understand that us being fans of the Raiders is something that is a treat for us, whether they win or lose.
Absolutely. Okay? I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like, go hug your mom, for crying out. If you haven't called your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, or come on, man. Like, stop arguing with the guy about Jane Daniels and go pick up the phone and go call your mom. All right? Like come on, man.
No,
what's wrong with you? Okay, so that's what I'm saying is I was able to have a wonderful life, Terrence Crump, for that first 47 years. And what my life is now is what it's going to be. Whatever this adventure is what it's going to be. But it is a gift, and I don't take the gift lightly. To my organ donor and his family, I don't take the gift lightly. And for some of you guys who are again just listening to this now, for me to know that it was a 19-year-old young man who had to die in order for me to live right now,
Right.
something that weighs heavy on me, man, every day. Because my son, dude, they're the same age essentially, right? So like do you know how hard it was for someone like me to read that medical report, you know? So yeah, man, it gets like transplant life get like honestly, like this last half hour of you and I talking about transplant life, you could cut this right now and you could post this as a separate show about just transplant life, and dude, like it's a heavy thing, you know. Well,
you know, that's something. And I mean, as long as you got time, I got time, man. Because honestly, I want the world to hear, you know, like you got to read and know who gave you life, like based on everything, right? So
so there's this rule with organ donation where I still haven't, so you don't get to meet them and you don't get to know them, and you may never know them because they may never want to know. There's a letter that you can write. I haven't written the letter yet because from the people that are more experienced than me about this, it's advised that maybe this isn't the right time yet to do it, right? And maybe they'll receive it, maybe they won't. Some people never write that letter. Some people, like I do plan on writing the letter, but I'll tell you what, man, every time I've tried to put pen to paper on what I want to say, right? And there's all these different rules like I can't specifically talk about who I am because, you know, there's all these different like rules where you can't try to put hints in there so they could try to find you or who you are or any of that, right? So it has to be a general thank you, right? A general way of saying thank you. But how do you begin to say thank you to a family, a family
still in mourning,
that's still in mourning because they lost their 19-year-old son or brother or possibly father, right? Like I mean,
19 is old enough, man. It's old enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, you know, how you know, what do you say, right? Like it's like is my thank you enough, right? Like one thing I've said, and I've said it on air, I've said it on TV, I've said it on a lot of interviews, is I'm doing everything that I can in my life so that if there's ever a chance for me to meet that family, that they can look at me and say, well, I'm happy that my son was able to save your life because you made your life count, right? And I'm doing everything I can, you know, and I'm trying not to make us cry here. All right, but I'm doing.
I'm trying to look up and down.
Yeah, I know, man. I told you, man. It gets deep. Like whenever I talk about this stuff, it gets really deep. But like, for me, I asked that question. Like, am I doing good enough? Am I worth this second chance? Am I? You know, like, am
100%,
I? You know what I'm saying? Because I died already. Like that life was gone already. Like, so what do you want me? What am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? How do I make all of this count? I don't want this 19-year-old young man sacrifice and his family sacrifice to not mean something, right? So as a transplant survivor, as a transplant recipient, someone who was able to receive a second chance at this life, like it's heavy, man. It's not like, hey, Angelo just woke up, and you know, dude, when I get up, because like I told you, like just from a physical sense, I can't jump up like I used to out of bed. I mean, and you and I are about the same age, so you could just jump out of bed, dude. I have to do roll. I have to roll. And then I have to like use my arm to push up because I don't have any core muscles. And then I gotta like sit there for a second. And I mean, like that's just the physical sense. I'm not even talking about the mental aspect of it, you know, or the sleepless nights because of whether it's medication or I have deep thoughts in my head, right? You know, being able to talk to you for 4 hours, for example, ask me about boxing and MMA, dude, you know, that's great. Like that's awesome. We're talking about Raiders. That's awesome. But we start talking about this stuff, man, and it gets deep. It gets deep because I'm going to talk to you about life and death, man. I'm going to tell you, like, no matter how mad you get at your daughter, like, dude, you have a daughter that's sitting there accomplishing the best that she can. like be proud of that, man. Be proud of the fact that you and your wife have a solid relationship. Be proud of the fact that, you got your little one right now. He's being a little gamer, and he's trying to do all this, like, man, just enjoy that part. Like enjoy it. Just take a breath, and look at your studio. Look at what you created. Look at the fact that you just hit 1,000 subscribers on the show where I guested you. Right? Okay. So, like again, man, like Raider Nation, right, guys? It's amazing to have had a chance to connect with you, especially as I continue to go through this journey of transplant. But the friends I've made, dude, yourself, Chris Kimber, right? Everybody at the Shield Squad, right? The Raider Syndicate, Captain Jack, like Hollywood Raider, Power Raider, Inland Empire Raider, right? Like you name it, dude. Like everybody at Raider Nation's very supportive of transplant life, supportive of organ donation. And then again, just all I'm asking you to do as a transplant recipient and someone who's carrying this in my second chance at life, this gift, is consider it. Just educate yourself about it so that you don't think it's this weird, crazy thing.
I honestly tell you, man, I've never been a donor, and I'm saying this publicly. I will absolutely make that change. I've never been a donor. I've never, really even thought about it from these perspectives. I can't even say why, to be honest.
No, and you know what? And first of all, let me thank you personally for now understanding it and considering it, and you can do more work and understanding it. Like I said, like I think a lot of people have a notion that if you say you're allowing yourself to be an organ donor, that they're gonna like not work hard to try to save you. And it just like, look, man, medically it doesn't work that way in the United States. But also every doctor in the world, because of their Hippocratic oath, is designed to save your life to the very end.
What? Even
no matter what. And if you do register yourself as an organ donor, they still have to ask your family. Like it doesn't work that way. They don't like to me sometimes I go, man, but to kind of talk about what you said, you don't know why you ever thought about it. Dude, my mother, 71 years old, 32 years ago, donated her kidney to her brother, to the youngest brother of her family of 8, in order for him to survive another 32 years. He just passed away this past year. Okay, now let me explain this. Right, you want to talk about someone like maybe there's a little bit of you don't know why, you never thought. Now think about this. I was a teenager when she was deciding to do this. Wow. At the time, this is in the 90s, right? Like 32 years ago. So I was like, Mom, please don't do it. And the reason why I was saying that at the time is I wasn't educated. Like I didn't understand. But also, man, I mean, this is my mom. Like, all I ever had was her, right? Like I told you how my rich dad, who should have taken care of his firstborn, just kicked me to the rocks, which is an all too common story that a lot of us can all relate to, right? Right. And I had my single mom raising me in the Philippines, never making me feel like we were poor, never making me feel like we needed food or shelter. She always fought for everything that we had. It was always by my side. Like that's what I mean is like when you could be fortunate enough that God graced you with this, like, come on, man. Like, what are you angry about? Stop being angry about anything, right? Just look at what you got and be thankful for it. So anyway, during that time, like I was so afraid of losing her because I didn't know, man. I'm like a freshman in high school, I think at this point. Right. I didn't know.
Life in your eyes. Yeah, exactly.
Like that was it. So by her doing that one kidney lasted the entire 32-year period. Right. He didn't die because of kidney failure. He died because of something else. But, the whole point is like my mom made a selfless sacrifice, a selfless act, because I remember having that conversation with my mom. And I remember when I was talking to her, she said, this is what God wants me to do. Of course, I'm being called to save him. I'm being called to do this. Right. And dude, you know how powerful that is for a teenager to hear your mother willing to go through that stuff, right? Like, it makes you like think in your head, man, how selfless is my mom? Like how, and then that's what I mean is like when I was saying earlier, like shout out to our moms. Like,
Right.
if you were lucky enough to have a mother or a father or a guardian or your foster parent or whoever it is that was guiding you and they loved you, your grandma, like a lot of people grew up with their grandparents, right? Like, look, man, if truly a selfless act, like truly, I'm gonna be here for you for what you need, and I'm gonna take care of you. Like, come on, man, right? So I can only hope that I could be a fraction of how amazing my mom has been in the 71 years that she's gotten a chance to live in this world, and she's still like, dude, like she's ballroom competing. Like, you want to talk about an athlete? My mom, like, shout out to my mom who's about to probably win first place in some ballroom competition out there, you know, at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, man, like I said, bro, like guys, if you're still here, first of all, I want to thank you. I don't know how many of you guys are still listening live. For all of you who are probably going to get a chance to listen, I think that probably Terrence Crump is going to break this up into like sections, because we have a boxing section that's really cool. We have an MMA section that's really cool. We got into some Raider football, but man, the last, I think, like almost hour, we've talked about just life in general and being a transplant life and taking your health seriously and everything else. I mean, guys, like, if you're still here and you're still listening, not only do I say salute to you, but take a breath, man, and just say to yourself that you're alive right now. Okay, I'm sure you have people that love you. I'm sure you have great friends, and you have food on the table, and you have a roof over your head. Like, come on, man. Stop getting mad at people who say we shouldn't trade the farm for Jaden Daniels.
I know, right?
What is wrong with you?
Hey, look, I'm going to let y'all know something. I wouldn't even say I'm halfway done with this. Yes, Angelo, I still need time. We are going to, bid this night adieu, but I can assure you we will absolutely have another 4 hours minimum of this man's life if he's willing and ready to just have these conversations with me, because there's still so much I haven't touched on. I'm being honest with you. I don't know if you realize there's still a lot of stuff that I would love to pick your brain on, man, and really get deeper into other areas. I don't want to stop with what we're doing right now, but I want to be respectful of your time, right? It is 4 hours and 7.
Yeah, no, like Chris, who the first show I had with Chris, and Stu came in and Captain Jack came in. No one believed that we would go 5.5 hours long. But dude, that got deep. And if you watch the last half hour, man, Stu was crying, and Captain Jack, was crying, and Chris is a big ass softy, like he's a big teddy bear, and like shout out to Chris, man. So you know what? Chris is back, right? Chris is back right now. Yes. And then I think he put out this whole shout out. Hey, Chris saw a picture of my mom, so he knows. But yeah, shout out to Mama. Shout out to Mama right there. But yeah, he put, bruh, this is what this content creating is about. I think that's pretty deep, right?
It is. It really is. Shout out to Chris, man.
Yeah. Shout out to the Shield Squad. If you guys are listening to this at any given time, even if you're not listening to it, shout out to Shield Squad. Shout out to the Raider Syndicate. And I know, like Chris said, and I think you said that you guys are going to get me on that. Absolutely, on one of these Sundays.
Absolutely.
So
100%, you will absolutely be on there, and it will be Raider content. But I just want people to know we just scratched the surface, ladies. I don't think y'all understand. We haven't talked anything about technique. We haven't talked anything about his favorite fighter he's trained. I have so much stuff, dude. I have. Y'all don't understand. This is just scratching.
Here, let me shout out. Chris is on the chat right now.
Yeah,
Chris, if you got a question about boxing or MMA, man, fire away and I'll answer it. I'm gonna be right back though. Hold on.
Yes, sir. Because look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think y'all understand. I don't think y'all understand.
In fact, hey, Terrence, if Chris wants to jump on right now, I'll take the question live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You hear that, Chris? You already know. You an admin on Minds anyway. Just hop on in if you feel the need, man. But I just want y'all to understand, I haven't even scratched the surface with this, man, in my opinion. I'm giving y'all, what I think you want to hear. No one's asked any questions, so I think it was very entertaining, meaning that everything that was being discussed was something that people actually, wanted to hear. But I just need to let y'all know, I haven't even gotten even remotely close to as deep as I'd like to get when it comes to really his profession. This is one of the things that we don't get enough of. This man dedicated his life to combat sports. Dedicated his life. His whole you could go put him in a corporate setting, some office, right? He has no clue. His whole life is combat sports, striking. And it's something that is near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. Even myself, I grew up as that kid that would refuse to allow anybody to bully anybody in front of me. That was just something that I couldn't allow to happen. And I'm not going to act like I knew how to fight like that. I just knew there was no way I was going to allow it. And I have receipts for that. My two best homies growing up, right, those very impressionable ages, right, between the elementary and going to middle school, I stood up for those guys. It didn't matter. And they're still around today. Shout out to Ryan Bonner, Savage. Those were my two ace boom coons, day ones. And you can't say nothing about them in front of me or behind my back. You know what I'm saying?
Back them up, right? You
back them up every which way.
You know what? And that there's that old school mentality too of this is why you do want to learn how to fight, or you want to learn because back in our days, man, like people forget, like we grew up in a generation of latchkey kids. I don't even know if anyone remembers that terminology. Because we were like, we had our own key. We had to walk home, right? Like. You got to know how to not get kidnapped, man.
I was in the 4th grade going home by myself, ladies and gentlemen. I left in the morning by myself. My sister already went to school. My mother and father was already at work in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
I was just too dumb to realize, thank God I was too dumb to realize, because I almost failed the 8th grade, not because I didn't have the grades, because I started coming to school so late. I missed first period too much.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I see Chris is saying he's about to jump on. Did you give him the link?
On?
Yeah, he says I'm about to jump on.
We here.
Did you give him the link?
He's an admin.
Okay. So he knows how to jump.
Yeah, he gets this out.
Great. Yeah, no. I was gonna say, like Chris, when he did that one, I talked about this in hour 1, where Chris did a 18-minute talk. When he put like Nino Brown and Al Davis in there, and he was talking about like the soft ass generation of Raider fans. Like I'm wondering, like you and me, we come from that generation of toughen up, man. Like you don't play to lose. Right. Like what's wrong with you? We should tank to go get someone that might not be good. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what kind of fuck is this?
Look, I am a coach for the first time flag football, right? Obviously, I've been a coach for mixed martial arts and so forth, which is different because you got to have that mentality.
No, you can't. Like, can I just say this because you're a jiu-jitsu master, right? You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu professor of it, right? So. When you're about to get tapped, right? Like even that, like you have to actually be conditioned to tap.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't tap. You're like, fine, break it.
Yep.
Break it then.
And now you're out for who knows how long. There's a lot of
condition yourself to say the smarter play is to just move on to the next match and do it. But even the martial arts mentality, you're taught to there's a fighter.
Never give up, dude.
There's a fighter who
don't give up.
One of the greatest boxers ever in the history of the sport, female world champion, one of Freddie's champions. converts into MMA because her background was coming from the martial arts. She was ranked in Taekwondo in the Junior Olympics. She was a master of Kempo, karate, Kung Fu, and at the time, like this was like I think even a little before Ronda Rousey, but in Asia there weren't doing any of these female MMA. She's like, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll just jump in there. So this is someone who is coming from the world. This is like a a Roy Jones Jr. like going, hey man, I'll jump into MMA, right? but again, to give it some context, she wasn't disrespectful. She had been in martial arts all her life. She's got multiple black belts, like. So she was just jumping in it, just in the feeling of this is a competition. I've reached the pinnacle, winning 3 world championships in my lifetime. I want to be able to go fight in the Philippines. I want to go and jump in there. So she opened an entire division up. She's the first person to fight in this 125 division for this organization, one championship, right? So anyways, I want to tell you the story because, some of this content we've talked about tonight, it's little stories, right? So I'm going to tell you this story. So if you're a basketball,
really quick though, let's get.
Oh, there he is, my brother.
Oh,
hey man, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna finish the story in a sec. But Chris Kimber, I gotta tell you, man, do you know how many texts and messages I've gotten privately about how you and me doing shows together is like, I don't know if you're getting the same messages.
I am,
but I get so many messages like, man,
it's special, man. It's
Chris,
special.
You guys are, I mean, I always just say that I think you and I have really good chemistry because we kind of don't take it so seriously. Like we do take it seriously, but we don't take it that seriously that we can laugh at ourselves about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right. So thank you, man. And shout out to you. Thank you so much for the mock draft show. You know what's going to be crazy cool is if the mock draft that you did ends up being kind of close.
That'd be fire.
If it's even like 50% of what you picked, I'm going to be like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, so anyway, I was just sharing the story, Chris, about how, so me and Turp were talking about how, we were taught not to be soft, not to have the soft mind. Like you don't give up no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And in jiu-jitsu, like I know you played rugby and you played some of the other physical sports, but I don't know if anyone has ever put you like on a leg lock or like a guillotine or like a kimura.
Yeah. No, I got friends that were wrestlers, man, and
okay, there
and we used to always like roughhouse, especially because the wrestlers, the ones that played football too, they always thought they were tougher anyway. But man, there ain't you're never more helpless when you're in like a rare naked choke or something. You're like, okay, all right, you win, dude. You
understand this, right? And then, and so me and Mr. Crump here, we're talking about how, and even still, you're conditioned to be like, fine, then put me to sleep then.
Yeah,
fine, then go break my arm then. Like, all right, whatever. And you have to actually be trained. You have to be trained to say, dude, you got to tap, man. Like that's like, and then we were referencing this because of what you put out for 18 minutes about these soft ass Raider fans talking about how we
don't get me started. Turf, no, like, that kills me, man.
I'm like, I don't know what generation these new Raider fans are on, because it's like, so you want us to tank to maybe get somebody that might be good going into a losing ass team that just tanked? Like, how does this make sense to you? How does any of this mentality make sense? You're asking someone who was used to winning in college to now come into a loser ass team who purposely went and tanked, and you somehow think that's a culture builder? Bro, you need to grow up, man. You need to.
It drives me nuts, man.
You need to, grow your ass up, and I don't know, go get a job. Like maybe go get a job. Some of us were working when we were 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get a job. Like,
but I mean, a lot of these people don't even think they need a job, man. They want handouts. It's just they don't want to work for anything. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I was nowhere near as as a competitor as Max Crosby. Now, like, I wanted to win, but my thing was, I was a partier, man. So like I had talent, but my talent wasn't good enough to get me through a weak work ethic, man. So, you know, like I want to know where the girls were. I want to know where the parties was. Hey, practice almost over. What we doing after this game, y'all? Like I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
you know, turf feel me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, but the thing is, it's like I still didn't want to lose. Like at no point, I hated losing. Like I was one of the people after we lost. Like, don't talk to me.
Right.
Like on the bus going back home. Yeah. On the bus going back home. Like I don't want to hear no laughing. Like there's nothing to laugh about.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's a different.
No, but that's
we all grew up, right? Where that you don't say nothing on the bus on the
No,
bus.
you better not. You better not say nothing on that bus.
Yeah, no.
You still get money.
Yeah.
Every competition you went to growing up this way, it mattered, man. And this is what I mean. It's like when they talk about that Michael Jordan mentality of, you know, he wants to win at everything. Yeah. Right. We relate to it because that's how we grew up. Like me and Chris could be playing more cheesy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like I'm trying to take my boy out. Like I'm not about to come out of that game where I lost.
Right.
You know, like no way, man. If we're sitting there and we're playing whatever, you name the game, and even if I suck at it, I'm still gonna try. I'm still gonna try.
Hey, do you know how crazy like at my local bar, daggone cornhole tournaments get? We'll be playing cornhole, man. Man, I don't want to leave the loop, man. It don't matter what it is. It's just that competitive nature, and I know I said it on one of my shows. You know, one of the way, and Big Daddy actually helped me with this, Big Daddy Jose, because I used to get so mad after the games, with the Raider games, where I would take it personal and I would let it mess up the whole rest of my Sunday.
Week for me.
Yeah, it would, and literally. And literally, like I would like leave the game early. Like I was like, Big Dad, I can't do this no more. I'd just be pissed. And he had to help me. And one thing that got me, and again, I think it's just this. It was like a newer generational thing, but like after the game, seeing the players like hug and switch jerseys and take, like, I couldn't understand that because I'm like, wait, those are the enemy. Why are you taking pictures with them? Like, why? You know, like imagine Jordan and Bird doing that after. Like, no.
It would have never happened.
Now, to be fair, right? To be fair and to give context, and this is probably why a lot of you guys, if you're listening to this now, it's on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32. And it's been 4 hours and 22 minutes that we've been on. We've talked about boxing. We've talked about MMA. We've talked about some Raider contact. We've talked about life. Now we have the great host of the Protect the Shield podcast.
I ain't great, man. I'm just a fan, man.
You know, he's the one that says form Voltron and the Raider Syndicate all show up. Right? But anyway, so if you are watching this, I don't know if you're running it on the Protect the Shield podcast, but if you're watching this on the Protect the Shield podcast, or you want to go watch some of the past episodes, you know, we're just getting into this talk right now, and I was about to get into my story about how, you know, you don't give up, but to be fair,
correct. Well, hold on, Angelo. Hold on. Before you do that, though, because I'm not going to be on there this long, but I just wanted to say the reason I jumped on, man, was your daggone story, man, is like I put in the comment, man, like to me, this is what this content creating is about. Like, you're not going to get this type of stories anywhere else. This is the Raider Syndicate type of show. Shout out to Turf, man. You know, Turf is a big bro to me, and like just sitting here watching you two communicate, like this collab was like peanut butter and jelly, man. You know, I'm a fat boy, so I love peanut butter and jelly. So, you know, it's just, you know, and I'm just so glad that I met you, Angelo. You know, me and you had a good show, but I just want to let you know, you know, from someone who just met you recently, that you've already impacted my life. Just little stuff, you know, that you say, you know, just how enthusiastic you are about this stuff. And you don't understand it until you take a step back. And I even told Turf and them in our chat, I'm like, Angelo just is just a good dude, man, because your heart is so pure with this stuff. And sometimes I may not understand. I'm like, man, Angelo sending me something else, but I'm like, but then I had to take myself back. I'm like, Angelo just loves this. Like, like Angelo can't go out like we can go out and go have a drink or like, so Angelo, like this is what he breathes and he loves it. And I'm like, and I just love everything about you, man. So I just want to let you know, and I want to say it publicly, that you've impacted me the little time that I've met you, and this thing that you and Turf had today, absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to say that and get that out before you went ahead and did your thing.
See that, Turf? You and Chris trying to make me cry tonight, man. It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen. You almost had me a couple of times. Chris almost had me right there too, man.
I was trying. I was trying to throw them uppercuts, man. I was trying to get you out of there.
Yeah,
I mean, I really appreciate you guys. I truly do appreciate your friendship. I truly appreciate you guys considering the organ donation. Again, man, I mean, I'm not even alive right now talking to you guys. I'm not alive right now talking to you about any of these boxing or MMA stories, or us having a fun conversation about whether or not we agree on the Raiders if it wasn't for organ donation, man. And April being Donate Life Month, just guys, take the time to just read about it and consider it, because you don't even know what life you could be saving. And when Chris Kimber says something like, I've impacted this life since I've gotten to know him in December, right? Like, maybe that's enough. Maybe by Chris being positive, he helps someone else out to help someone else out. And then you never know, right? I mean, me and Turf, we talked offline, a few times, and, Turf, man, he loves boxing MMA so much. He can't stop asking me about all these little things that happens.
Y'all don't even know. I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, no, but no. So what I was saying, Chris, is like,